Oi, oi, all right, how's it going? I'm Grant, you're you, and this is the Doodle Review coming through with a new album to give a spin, chat some fraff, and assign an arbitrary score to. Today, we're looking at the comeback record from the Beth Ditto fronted late 2000s indie rave purveyors, The Gossip, or Gossip. There might be a the. It sounds better with the, but I don't think it does have one. Anyway, Gossip are one of those acts that have had a much longer career than you might think due to many years grafting before actually getting their big break. And if you're around my age, you might remember them bursting into the mainstream in like 2006 with their single. Also, the name of the album is from Standing in the Way of Control. It was a banger and also completely omnipresent, a real crossover hit, bridging the cool underground indie sleaze, before it was kind of called that, and new rave scenes of the era with the mainstream chart. Side note, I even quite vividly, for some reason, remember their live appearance on BBC's Friday Night with Jonathan Ross, which is a throwback in itself, and I think that was their first ever UK appearance and possibly their first TV appearance, full stop. Anyway, despite that success seemingly coming on all of a sudden, it was actually a case of an overnight success just many years in the making. The band actually started way back in 1999 and had put out 2 whole records and a few EPs before striking a cultural nerve in 2006. Despite all 3 original members hailing from Arkansas, they formed in Olympia, Washington, and put out their first self-titled EP, then with the in the name, in that first year of 99. When it was time to release their first LP in 2001, That's Not What I Heard, they signed to indie label Kill Rock Stars. Notable for me because I've not really heard of many other artists affiliated to the label that weren't folk singer-songwriter legend Elliott Smith, and that's pretty fucking cool. The band built a small but devoted audience in those early years and were quite prolific. They followed That's Not What I Heard with the EP Arkansas Heat in 2002, a live album Undead in NYC in 2003, which was then quickly followed by their second full-length Movement. Founding drummer Kathy Mendoza dropped out to become a midwife that year and was shortly replaced by seasoned Styx woman Hannah Bilili, who'd built a reputation through stints in multiple underground punk bands. This takes us to their breakthrough, that Standing in the Way of Control record. The final factoid I'll add before this review just becomes Wikipedia on tape is that the Control album was co-produced by none other than Fugazi singer-songwriter or singer-guitarist Guy Picciotto. I guess the reason I thought it notable to provide the brief history lesson here is that prior to this 2024 comeback album and taking the opportunity to do the research, I kind of didn't appreciate the dues this group had paid before hitting their success, nor was I aware of just how many key members of the underground had kind of co-signed and vouched for the group on their come up. And that's not to say I thought these guys weren't worthy of their success or anything like that. I always thought Ditto and her compatriots were cool with some great tunes, but I am a sucker for a great punk rock underdog story. The perseverance to keep battling on for years to reach success while maintaining an artistic edge deserves respect, and more people, I think, should know about this group's story. With all that in mind, I feel slightly ashamed to say that this record, Real Power, is my first ever cover-to-cover Gossip experience, and I love it. I mean, it would be a bit friggin' underwhelming if after all that I didn't, wouldn't it? But I will say though, the enjoyment of this record came before I'd done all of the Wikipedia surfing, so my praise isn't just a projection of admiration for their story. And I don't think anyone that's actually listened to this LP would need convincing of that, because you do not need to dig deep to appreciate the constant stream of hooks, high energy and enjoyable variety on the record. If you are a first time listener like me, you might actually be a bit surprised by that variety too. Really, only knowing these guys from the hits, I kind of expected a throwback trip to the garage rock meets indie disco days, you know, like 4/4 beats, offbeat open hi-hats, gritty but bouncy bass grooves and a huge wailing chorus. Those moments are here for sure, but you also get moments of light funk, some ballads, and even some moodier reverb heavy numbers a la the XX or Interpol. Among my favourite tracks would be Crazy Again, starting with a driving filtered bass line and a cascading kind of carnival organ melody. It builds with a ringing and slightly melancholic guitar line which is instantly memorable. I really enjoy how restrained this song is, with that reverb guitar hook saying a lot while doing very little. Edge of the Sun is up right next, and it's revealed itself over time to be, I think, probably the best in the mix. It has a slightly slower, crisp 4/4 beat, fantastic melodies, and hooks driven by Beth Ditto, who keeps things at a smolder for most of the song rather than fully belting it. And it really works because none of the many hooks on this track need any overselling. Such a tune, that one. The production is brilliant throughout the album, once again in another show of how beloved this band is by key figures in the industry. This one's actually produced by Rick Rubin. From everything I understand about the Guru/producer's process, both from himself and artists he's worked with, I don't believe he has any great influence over the sonics of the record. He seems more to focus on creating an environment that's conducive to experimenting and adding and subtracting to the composition and arrangements. Regardless who it is, Rubin or his team of engineers, the sound on Real Power is great, providing a range of tones and instrumentation. The piano-driven Tell Me Something in some ways evokes the soul pop revival of the 2010s, think, Amy Winehouse, Duffy or Adele, but a deep, dark, edgy synth bass makes it feel very rooted in the gossip world. Another example of great sound and instrumentation would be Light It Up. The track's given a really dreamy melodic feel to it through stereo panned piano and acoustic guitar. The pacing at some points is probably where I would critique the record, and this is felt sometimes in the sequencing and within the tracks themselves. Personally, I think the opening track, Act of God, goes too hard, too soon into a dark melancholy without any previous context. It just feels a little unearned and doesn't offer the catharsis it probably could if it was later on. The track Real Power has maybe one repeated chorus too many in the end, and Give It Up for Love doesn't seem to ever raise the stakes as we progress through the track. In the end though, this is an amazing comeback album, one that is so strong it's made me want to go back to the beginning and check out the group's first run. Last year it was Be Your Own Pet that did that. This year it's Gossip. More of these exceptional comeback records from the garage rock indie scene would definitely be most welcome. I'm going to give this one a 7.9 and knock it on the head. That's just what I think though. What are you lot saying? Hit me with your thoughts in the comments below. Check out some other related videos that are linked in the description, and if you're interested enough to do all of that, then mate, you may as well just subscribe. Stick around, share some thoughts, show some love, or just tell some abuse in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers mate, bye.